Hello everyone, welcome to Content Learning. I am Jorge Bartra. I'm a tutor here in the area of STEM. I tutor a lot of things regarding calculus, algebra, chemistry, physics, you name it. I do all of them. So with that said, this is like a video of a small series, which I guess we're gonna call it a Blitz tutor or something like that, where we just go just solve things super quickly. And this is the first video, so uh, I'm sorry if I'm not good at editing or just blatantly say everything naturally. I guess it's nicer if I do everything naturally. So anyways, here we have a problem where it says how many moles is 3.9 times 10 to the 10 times 10 to the 20 magnesium atoms. And so the first thing that I would say is if you encounter a problem like this where you're going from moles to atoms, super easy, just write the given. What do they give you? Well, you start with what they give you. In this case, they give you 3.9 times 10 to the 20 magnesium atoms. So think about it this way. This is how I like to teach my students is they don't really understand moles, and I didn't really at the beginning, the first time that I was taught how to use moles. Because it's like, okay, you just gotta know that a mole is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23 atoms, or anything, right? But you don't quite grasp it. So the easiest way that I like to kind of relate this to something else is, for example, let's say you have, I don't know, you have to go to the supermarket and you want to buy X. Uh, Instead of saying I'm going to buy 24X, you could say I'm just going to buy 2 dozen X, right? Sounds easier to say 2 dozen instead of 24 eggs. Or you go and say, oh, I want to buy 12 eggs. Well, you just buy 1 dozen, 1 dozen eggs. So because of it, it's the same thing in chemistry. Instead of saying I'm going to get 3.9 times 10 to the 20 magnesium atoms, which is a lot, because it is a lot of atoms, right? You have a bunch of atoms. Then we have this nice conversion that helps us and says, oh, look, if you have 6.022 times 10 to the 23 atoms, then I can just quickly say that's 1 mole. And that's the conversion that we use for this type of problems, right? So when we convert from moles to atoms, moles to molecules, etc., you can just say, oh, if I have this amount of molecules, then it will be just 1 mole, 2 moles, 3 moles, 4 moles. So how do you do this now in practice? Well, the first thing that I like to do is T-chart. I call it T-chart. I don't know if they call it something else anywhere else, but easiest thing to do this is you write down the number that you want to start with. In this case, they give you that. You start with that. 3.9 times 10 to the 20 mg atoms. I like to write the entire thing because it's always nice to keep track of units. I do a line, first vertical line for my T-chart. Then I just draw a horizontal. I'm a very lazy person when it comes to write my T-charts, because I know some people kind of like break it into fractions. I just like 1 line vertical, 1 line horizontal that stretches across infinity. So you could do the across infinity thing, you don't have to. It's just, I can just easily make another line here, for example, and then I should be good to go, right? But anyways, so now the second thing that I tell my students is, you want to cancel, I'm gonna do it now with another color. You want to cancel this magnesium atoms unit, specifically the atoms, because you don't want to keep on carrying atoms. Now you want to change into moles. So if you have a direct conversion, like in this case we do, because we're going from atoms to moles, you just write it down here. You say, okay, the unit that I want to cancel is atoms, so I'm gonna write mg atoms. I write mg atoms down here. And then in this case, we do have a direct conversion from atoms to moles. So I'm gonna say, okay, a mole here at the top. So I put a mole, and now this is the big question. What do I write at the bottom? What do I write at the top with regards to numbers? Well, we know from our direct conversion that 1 mole is 6.022 times 10 to the 23 atoms. So we should write then 1 mole at the top is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23 magnesium atoms. And just like that, you can go ahead and say, okay, great. I actually can now cancel my atoms. I'm not gonna carry that unit anymore. And I'm gonna carry now the unit of mole. I guess you can write here magnesium mole. I mean, same thing. I'm just gonna write mole for now, but just like that, you cancel the atoms, and now you're free of the atom unit, and now you're with the mole unit. So now what do? Well, you grab your handy dandy calculator, and how I like to think about this and how I tell all my students is the following. The numbers that are up top, right? For example, these two, you just multiply all of them. All right, multiply all of the ones that are up top, then multiply all the ones that are at the bottom. Once you get those two answers, you can divide the top, whatever you got in the total at the top, divided by whatever you got on the total at the bottom. For example, in this case, I'm just going to make a very easy example because we don't really have like a big number per se. I have 3.9 times 10 to the 20 multiplied times 1 over, again, this is 1 right here. I didn't say it, but it's understood that there's a 1 always below a number because of the identity property, but let's not get into that. I just put a 1 here just to explain this. So we have here now 1 times 6.022 times 10 to the 23, right? That's what we have. So let me just put here equal just to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. And then put in the units just to make it easier. So I multiply the top. So 3.9 times 10 to the 20 times 1. That will give you 3.9 times 10 to the 20th. Divided by, then we do 1 times 6.022 times 10 to the 23. So 6.022 times 10 to the 23. Now that I have these two, all I gotta do is divide it. So I'm gonna grab here my calculator. So hopefully for the future episodes, I can show my calculator. Let's see here. So I'm gonna do 3.9 times 10 to the 20 divided by 6.022 times 10 to the 23. And I get 6.5 in this case, 6.5 times 10 to the negative 4. Ooh, barely fit in there. But that's my answer. So if I were to actually write the answer, because I expect everyone to carry their units and their symbols, in this case, we will be talking about 6.5 times 10 to the negative 4 mole magnesium. That's how I will write my answer, and usually it is okay. There's usually like no problem. Usually people just write 6.5 times 10 to the negative 4 mole, you know. It depends on how your teacher wants it to be written. But that's basically it. So if you have any questions, please put in the comment section. I'm gonna try and do more Blitz tutoring with a variety of topics. This is my first video, so I apologize if it's not too good. I mean, I tried to make it Blitz, but it's like 8 minutes. But I guess the other videos won't have like intros and stuff, so it will be like super quick. I'm gonna try and make it within like 6 minutes. I don't know, for Blitz topics that is, because there's some that are not gonna be Blitz. But I guess I could think about it as being super fast with regards to the problem. So do it as fast as I can per problem, because I know for a fact there's some problems that are gonna be like way long. But instead of making it way long, we make it kind of short. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.